Anybody? So I'm going to be teaching $1 Million Database in March. Does anybody know what I mean when I say $1 million database? What's your guess? A database that produces $1 million? Yeah. Do you guys think that we have our database built in a way that is $1 million database if I teach it? Yes? Okay. So I guess my question is why aren't you guys making $1 million?
We gotta work the database.
Got to work the database. So it's funny because as I teach that class, one of the things I say in there, the interesting thing is it's the best CRM in the world is the one that you use, period, right? So we can do all the stuff that makes it $1 million database, but then it takes application and execution in order to get the revenue out of the database. So today we're going to talk about the mistakes that are likely costing you guys money. So the mistakes that you could be making in your database that are costing you money. But first, the math. So I'm going to tell you real quick how we get to this math of how 150 people can influence 538 transactions. Now, when I say influence, that doesn't mean you're going to get all 538. What that means is 150 people typically know 150 people. So 150 times 150 is a little over 22,000. So then we say out of those 22,000, roughly 10% are going to do something this year. So that's about 2,200. And then we cut out, a certain percentage are going to buy, a certain percentage are going to rent. So then we cut that out. And then we say a certain percentage are going to already have a realtor and not even consider using anybody else because their realtor is awesome and probably has $1 million database. But then that leaves this other percentage. So out of those 22,000 people that are in this circle, 538 are transactions that you could have influence over. 538, meaning there are 538 opportunities if you have 150 people in your MET database, your CAP, your A, Bs, or Cs. Now the question is how do we gain access to them, right? That's the question. If you had a 5% capture rate of that, that's over 25 transactions just from those 150 people. So imagine if you had a 10% capture rate. Like what if you became a master at finding the path to those 538 people that are going to buy or sell this year? So your database is either compounding or it's decaying. So what do I mean when I say decaying? What could cause your database to decay? Lack of touches, neglect. What'd you say? Something similar?
Yeah,
not following up enough. So if you, it's one of the mistakes, but if you treat it like just a newsletter list, it will decay. It will die on the vine. So the way that you compound it is simply by servicing it and leveraging the system that's already built. All right, so mistake number one, not tagging or staging your people correctly. So what is a stage? Who wants to tell me what a stage is?
The point of time in which the buyer or seller is at when it comes to buying or selling.
Okay, hold on. Will you pass that?
Well, do you want her to say it
Yep,
again?
I want her to say it again.
No, it's just the timeline in which you know that the buyer or seller is about to buy or sell their home.
Okay, so a
Essentially.
stage is the buying or selling timeline or the transaction timeline.
Yes.
That's the stage. Okay, cool. So what is a tag? What does a tag do for us? Anybody know what a tag does? Brittany. Brittany knows.
It tags your identifier, because in my head, if I know you're 6 months out, but there's no tag on it and you fall out of my brain in 6 months, then I lose you. So tagging is like your reminder system.
Okay. Almost.
Okay.
So it is an identifier. Yes. But it should never identify a buying cycle. That only should be done through a stage. So staging is something that cannot be edited. It's hard coded into the system. And then tags, you can create tags for everything. So here's why tagging wouldn't be tied to a buying timeline is let's say you put 6-month tag and then it's like 3 months later, you put a 90-day tag and there's a 6-month tag and a 90-day tag on it. A stage only allows one. So that's why we use stage for buying timeline, but they are identifiers. So what do we want to know about our people that we would leverage or use tags for? Do you want to take a stab at it since you have the microphone?
Sure. Tagging can be like first-time home buyer,
First time home buyer,
out-of-state buyer,
out of state.
investor, so that when you find the perfect property that would work, you can like filter out all these investors and find the ones and then show them the property.
Okay. So what she's describing is categorizing people based on interest or a potential type, right? So interest could be like, you could tag them golf and then you send them interesting golf articles, or you could tag them investor and you reach out with investment related messages. First time home buyer, invite them to the first time home buyer seminar. You see what I'm saying? So that's correct. What else can tags then be used for outside of that piece of tagging? Hannah, do you want to go if nobody else? Go ahead. Go ahead, Mariah.
Identify like your A, B, and C of your tab so that you're constantly following up and nurturing them.
Okay, so she
And,
said,
they're getting blasted with right stuff.
okay, she said identifying A, B, or C, which is our relationship status with them. And here's why relationship status matters is because how much mind share or time do you have to follow up with people? Could you follow up with 1,000 people effectively? If that was your, like, it'd be hard, right? So ABC, what it does is it allows you to funnel in and focus your time to the highest valued targets, and then the next, and then the next, and then automate everything else that is not a high value target. So an A is like your all-stars. Those people have referred multiple pieces, done multiple pieces, or they're just natural networkers. They're people that you need to be in business with so you can fish from a fishing net. Good job, Mariah. Thank you. So we want to make sure that every time someone goes in, we're properly tagging them and that we're staging them. What if they're not buying or selling? What's the stage for not buying or selling?
Not active.
Not active. So we're just saying, hey, these guys are not in an active funnel currently. That just changes a little bit how we treat them. We just treat them with the relationship process versus the timeline process. All right. So not running filters daily. So what do I mean by filters? Who wants to tell me what filters mean? Anybody? We had a slide on it earlier.
What Hannah went over.
Yeah, so what was that?
It was
Hold on.
the sheet in Navi how you can do the different filters and you can stack them so that you can get bottom of the funnel leads.
Yeah. So another way to think about it is a filter is a predetermined set based on activity or actions or based on stages and tags. So you can take activity, actions. Activity would be like they're shopping or whatever. Actions would be like they've looked at multiple houses. And then relationship would be ABC. And then timeline would be they're looking to do something. Any of those things could create a filter. So what $1 million database agent does is they don't go and look through leads individually. They have a dashboard that they go to and they say, filter one, I work through these first because these are our highest priority. In my mind, my filter ones would be my active people that are tagged now or that staged now, right? That's my first set of people that I'm reaching out to today. Then it would be the people 30 days, and then I'd work down the buying timeline. Then I would move to who has looked on the website at more than 5 properties in the last 30 days, pull up that list, work my way down it. Then I would move to my relationships. Like that is how $1 million agent operates, is they just have a dashboard and they say, every day I do these things, pop, 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 pop. And it ensures that you're hitting everything that's high value every single day. You guys tracking me? Mm-hmm. All right, mistake number 3, treating the CAP, Client Appreciation Program, like a newsletter list. What do I mean by that?
You're not going. you're not checking in on them like individually and
Okay.
like calling them and talking to them. You're just kind of saying, there's my newsletter that gets sent out
Yep.
for me and hoping for the best.
Yeah. So a good $1 million database will have highly effective and highly engaging touches, but it will not have the empathy or personal interaction that you can bring. That's a piece of the magic sauce that we can't do for you. And honestly, never will be able to. I don't care how good AI gets. We will never be able to replace human-to-human interaction, conversation, questions. That is on you. So when you treat it like an email list, you throw them in there and you're like, do your thing, database, kick me off a result. It will give you a result, but it's not going to give you $1 million result. You have to be the person that is inserting yourself in their life, that's following up and saying, hey, did you get the newsletter? Did you notice it said blah, 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 blah? Or, hey, did you notice that this was going on in the Treasure Valley this weekend? I thought you and the kids would like it. Whatever. Like, you need to be inserting yourself and offering and bringing value, bringing gold bars. By the way, your cap, if it's functioning at full capacity, meaning you're actually hitting all the touches, it should give you a 10 to 15% return. So if you have 150 people in your cap, that should be giving you 15 to 20 transactions. And if it's not giving you 15 to 20 transactions, you need to ask yourself, how are you interacting with your cap? What does it look like? Are you just leveraging it as a newsletter list? Or are you actually having a relationship with these people? Oh, that's weird. All right, so under-touching because you're afraid. So what do I mean by being afraid? Like that, like insert afraid, anxious, whatever. Insert any of those words. What do I mean by that?
You don't want to bug them.
Okay, so Mike said that you don't want to bug them. So one of the most important things that I learned, I read a book called Fanatical Prospecting, and it talked about people not wanting to call them because it's like, I don't want to bug them at lunch, or I don't want to bug them in the morning because they have kids, or I don't want to bug them in the evening because of X, Y, or Z. All that's doing is putting your perception into their world. And you can't know what will bug them or what will not bug them unless you know them really well, but then you don't have to be scared to do it. You just time your follow-up to what works for them. But if you don't know them really well and you're choosing not to call someone, what's the percentage of conversion for never communicating with someone?
Close to zero.
It's as close to zero as you can possibly get unless you get lucky. So you're better off calling and irritating 1 out of 10 than calling and never calling any to not irritate any. Does that make sense? So if you don't call the 10, it's irrelevant. If you call the 10 and 1 is irritated, you still have 9 people that were glad to hear from you. I'd take the 9 all day long over the 10 that don't know me. All right, never asking for business. I think we've talked about this 100 different ways. But what do you say, and I mean you individually, you specifically, what do you say when someone says, how's the market? Do you know that? Do you know the answer to that? Who knows the answer to that? Who has what they say? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands. This is concerning to me because this would take you 30 seconds to come up with. 30 seconds to come up with what is the thing that I'm going to say that is my thing that leads to what I want in my business that I say no matter what. So when someone says, how's the market? I don't go, oh, it's good. I mean, it's pretty busy. It's been all right. Like things are happening. Anybody feel like that when someone says, how's the market? Anybody feel like you're like, what should?
It depends on who's asking.
Okay, tell me more.
Are you looking for yourself as a buyer, investor, or are you a seller? Tell me more.
I'm not looking at all.
You're not looking at all? You're just curious?
No. I just don't know what else to say to you. I know you're an agent, so.
Oh, gotcha. Well,
You don't have to keep going. You don't have to keep going.
I
I
just
just copy what you say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. What do I say?
You say something to the effect of, "Oh wow, it's funny you asked. I have a ton of buyers that we have been."
Oh
I
yeah. Okay.
have-
Say it.
a ton of buyers that we've been struggling to help find properties, and you say something to that effect of like, and so who do you know in your world that's looking to sell their property this
Yeah.
year that we can help?
So because I made it mine, I went in and I said, how could I make that work for me and then get me as close to a guaranteed result as I possibly can? Right? So someone says, how's the market? I say, oh my gosh, it's so funny that you asked that. I actually have a ton of buyers that are currently looking for a house. We can't find anything on the market. I promise I'd do anything I can. Have you heard any rumors of anybody that's looking to sell that might be able to connect with my buyer? Like, people love to freaking gossip. You say rumors, they're like, oh, right? They actually think about it. But I know exactly what I'm going to say. If I know exactly what I'm going to say, it's leading to what I want in my life and in my business. And it concerns me that some of you guys don't know what the answer to that is. It would take you 30 seconds to come up with what it is you want and memorize it. And then every time someone says, how's the market? You have the thing you say. That is asking for business. And it's leveraging every opportunity that shows up in our world to ask for business. What is the number one question you get from people? How's the market? I probably get that 100 times a month. Would you like to have 100 opportunities to get business this month? Yes. All you have to do is know what to say. I love what this says right here, though. Clarity is not pushy. Clarity is professional. So like we think that, oh, if I ask for business, I'm being pushy. If you strategically build it in a way, it actually makes you look like a professional. And who doesn't want to work with an agent that has a lot of people that are looking, that's doing everything they can to help them? Like, that's the agent I want to work with. So you're not only looking for opportunity, but you're delivering a narrative. You're aligning yourself with people as a professional. Mistake number 6, stopping at one touch. One touch. So I'm going to give this to you as I'm going to take it a different way. So not just putting them in the database and only reaching out to them one time, but if someone asks for something from you and you say, yeah, let me get it for you, and then you wait until the thing happens and then you send it to me and say, hey, I got that thing for you, you're missing a massive opportunity. A massive opportunity to build trust, a massive opportunity to show professionalism, a massive opportunity to show that you have a process for what you do. So someone says, hey, can you check on the inspection of that property? Okay, you got to call the agent. The agent doesn't do what? They don't answer. They never answer. So I shoot them a text. I immediately text the client and I say, hey, just want to let you know, I tried to call them. They didn't answer. I shot them a text. If I don't hear from them by X, I'm going to reach back out. Then at X, you do the same thing if you haven't heard from them. Hey, just want to let you know, I called, I text, I also sent an email, still haven't heard from them. If I don't hear from them by X, I'm going to reach out again. So you're creating all of these different opportunities inside of these exchanges that build trust, that build loyalty, that show professionalism. What does that turn into? Anybody want to guess? And then what? If they see you as that and they're like, I like the way they treated me, I like the way they communicated, they're going to refer business. They're going to recommend you. And it's not going to be weird when you say, by the way, like everybody that I give 5-star service to gives me 1 or 2 referrals. How was the service? 5-star? Oh, awesome. Who do you know like you that I need to talk to? Makes it a lot easier. No weekly rhythm. So who has a weekly rhythm in here? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that's another piece. Like if you do the same thing and you protect your time, the system will work for you. So if you do the same thing every Monday, the same thing every Tuesday, the same thing every Wednesday. Now what happens if something shows up in that time frame? You have an inspection that you have to go to, you have a closing you have to go to. What do? Adjust. What does adjusting look like?
Moving your lead gen time.
Yeah, moving your lead gen time. So if your lead gen time is between 9 and 11 and something just happens to slip in there, I don't think it should, but let's say it does, you give yourself permission to move or remove it. It's better to give yourself permission to do that than just to blow through it. Because the second you blow through it, you now become someone who doesn't honor your commitments. And your calendar is no longer your boss. And your calendar should definitely be your boss. Okay. So, we run $1 million database system. The question is if you're not getting results, where are you not taking action that's breaking the system? That's what I want you guys to think about and journal on and decide what you're going to do different to leverage the system that's being run on your behalf. Because there's every single one of you have 538 transactions that you can influence. The real question is what are you doing to capture it? And if you're not leveraging the system, all the heavy lifting's been done. You just need to apply. I think that's it. That's it. All right, so ahas. Let's hear your guys' thoughts. That was a fun one. Sorry. Does everybody feel like I was talking to them directly?
Yes.
Everybody's like cowering, like, don't look at me. What are some thoughts?
I've never done the cap.
Ooh,
I've never done the cap because
tell me more. I've never done the
initially I
cap.
didn't understand the cap until you just explained it again.
Okay.
I've heard it said before, but it's too much between the staging, the notes, the conversation, trying to cap, trying to do this. It's too many things to do in one thing. So I
Okay.
pick my hard, which I just do. I make sure I'm staging and I make sure I'm taking really good notes so that next time I call, I have something to work from.
Okay. So
That's just the
are
truth.
you saying that you have people in your system that are not tagged a cap?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And they've had the database qualifying script and they should be, like you should be establishing a relationship with them or no?
I do establish. So I am talking to them multiple times. I just have never tagged them
Okay.
as a cap.
So here's what's that? Go ahead. Hold on.
I think they're a cap, but you haven't categorized them A, B, or C.
Yeah. So let me address this, and then I'm gonna let Hannah ask a question. So, if there was a way, so first let me make this statement. Without clarity, busy feels good. So when you don't have clarity on things, you're just like, I don't have like the time to do all that because I'm like this and that and doing this and doing this and that. How do I have time to do X, Y, or Z? Right? That's what I'm hearing. The cap gives clarity. What the cap does is you've gone through and strategically thought, who are my A's? Now, these are people who have sent multiple pieces, done multiple pieces, or natural networkers. They should get somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 80% of your mind share, other than your outside of your active pipeline. 60 to 80% of your mind share. So if we know that that's where we're putting all our mind share, then everything else below the system should be working mostly for us. You should be investing way more into those relationships than any other relationship. Because you don't have the clarity on that, what you're doing is you're putting 1% effort in 100 different leads to come to 100% effort, instead of 80% in maybe 20 of those 200 leads or 10 of those 100 leads. Like when you identify an A, then you can be way more strategic with servicing those people, because that's where a majority of your business is actually going to come from, is those people. Does that make sense?
Would you say that you probably wouldn't identify an A for a while though? So for an example, I'm somewhat still of a newer agent. So my pipeline, my closed pipeline is somewhat small.
Yeah.
And
So first of all, what's the size of your, let's call it your cap, but people that you've done the database qualifying script on and they said, yes, please reach out to me as it pertains to real estate. What do you think that size is?
I'd probably say a solid 50, 60 people.
Okay. So you should only have 5 to 10 in your A's.
Okay.
And so they may not, like maybe all of them are just natural networkers. You just know people who own a business, who, you know, people who just is the person that just, when I talk to them, they know all the people that know all the people that know all the people. Like everybody, like anybody know Lucas? Lucas O'Neill? That guy is a natural networker. That's how you just know. Like that guy knows everybody and everybody knows that guy. That's how you identify a natural networker. So you don't have to have a lot in A's, but that just means you're probably going to have more in B's. People that have done one, sent one piece of business with you. Those are B's. C's are people that you could coach into sending one, doing one, and convert them into a B. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So if you only have 5 in your A's, then you can put a lot of time into those people. So, Hannah.
Yeah, you said it was too much to do the staging, the tagging, and then cap on top of that. But like when it's time for events to come up, or it's just time to follow up with them, like how are you keeping track of who to invite? How are you inviting them? Or
Should
who
I
to
call this
follow up
person
with?
4 times a year? Should I call them twice a year? Should I call them 3 times a year?
Yeah, like how do you know who to follow up with every day?
I'll just call everybody. If we're having an event,
Okay.
I'll call everybody that's in my database.
Okay, I think let me. As your business gets bigger, that's going to become more and more of a problem, right? So if you can get through all your people and call all your people and invite all your people, that's not going to be possible a year from today because you're going to grow it. If you're intentionally growing it, which you should be, because this system will work on your behalf. This system will do a lot of heavy lifting to where you can have 500 people in a cap. And out of 500 people, you'd have 50 in your A's. If you have 50 people in your A's, you never have to think about business again. You are now in the enduring phase. Like you are in the phase where business is happening to you and you're having a dopamine kick every single day because someone's calling you saying, hey, I got someone that needs to buy a house and you're the only person I would refer. And you're talking about getting on a group text with them.
And if they're tagged cap, they're being invited on your behalf. It looks like you're personally inviting them to these events. And then all you have to call is like your cap A's or people you know come to these events every year. That's
So
who
it
you-
reduces the amount of follow-up or calls that you have to make as well,
Yeah.
which would free up more time to.
And then throughout the year, they're also falling into your cap follow-up list. So that way it's like a reminder, like this person's cap A, they should be reached out to once every quarter. It's time to follow up with this person. I know that because they're in that list.
Yeah, 3 people showed up on my list today because I haven't reached out to them in at least 90 days.
Yeah. So just think of it as like it's making it easier, not harder, to do this work up front. So that way it's less work every day. It's just strategically who needs a follow-up today.
Work up
based on
front
that.
to lighten the load
Yeah.
moving forward. Yeah. So thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. I appreciate it. Anybody else want to share? Anybody else have any thoughts? Anybody have any encouragement? Like they're seeing at work, they enjoy it.
Pick me. I said this on a daily growth call, but I had a client who we were trying to buy a house in Oregon and we had fallen out of contract and we're waiting for her house to freaking sell in California. And it was on the market for like 200 something days. She was in there with a 30-day because, as soon as we got it. So I was following up with her at least once a month, if not more, because of the system, because it was staged that way. So it was very natural that like I literally had talked to her on a Friday and she calls me on Sunday and says, my house is under contract. And we went and found a house like the next week. And it was just very easy to have that. So it wasn't like mind share. Oh, I need to call Kathy. I need to check on Kathy because the system told me to check on Kathy. And so it just made it easy. She closed in February and it took me like 16 months to make that happen. And the database made it so easy to do that. I actually been working on my database because it could use some love. So I chatted with Chase last week and I've been going through 15 people a day and contacting them or tagging them out and getting them organized. I think if you just chunk it down into little edible
100%.
pieces, so much easier.
Great advice.
Not done yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah. So you said you have maybe 50 people in your.
I mean, my database has like 300 people in it.
Okay.
I'm saying 50 people that I feel like would be.
That you've had the quote unquote database qualifying script. Like, okay, cool. So do you know how to find those 50 people or would you have to go through the 300 to find them? Okay. Yeah. So what I would do then is I would put a target and say, hey, I'm going to find 5 of those people a day. So you just go through, oh, there's one. And then you ask yourself, are they an A, B, or C? And then everybody else is technically a D. You don't have to tag it D. We don't have to tag it D, do we?
No, everyone who doesn't have a cap tag will still fall into your like everyone else list.
Which is
when it's time to follow up with them.
Which in our system is D. So A, B, C, D. D just stands for database. It's just someone who you got their contact information from. They don't know, like, and trust you. You haven't had the database qualifying script delivered to them. So we're going to let the automation, we're going to let the system work them. And If they raise their hand, awesome. If they never raise their hand, you didn't waste any time, any mind share or time on them. But that's like our pond that we're fishing from, right? Just to look for hand raises. So I would challenge you, Ty, to go through and just find 5 a day. And if you want, call people as you're going through, but the goal would be like identify 5 people that need to be added to CAP. And in 10 days, you'll be done. Easy. 2 weeks. All right, cool. Anybody else? Awesome. Okay. Gratitude. Who on Zoom? You want to yell? Michelle. Okay. Michelle on Zoom. Who or what are you grateful for? And then I'm going to go with Ty because you spoke up. I'm going to go with you. Who or what are you grateful for? And then I'm going to go with Vicky. She's over there hiding. Like, don't call on me. So I'm going with Vicky. All right, Michelle.
I am, I'm so grateful for my husband. He works very, very hard for our family, and it is allowing me to make this transition from my old builder to building my own business. So for that, I am very grateful.
Love it. Ty.
I am grateful for my friend Sherry. For those of you who have been around a while, you guys remember I had a friend who was battling cancer and it wasn't looking well. But to see her this weekend with hair and, meat on her bones, and we're laughing and kikiing and caca and doing what we do, I'm very grateful for that.
I am just grateful to be here and be able to be a mom to my baby. And I had a friend that unfortunately on Wednesday night passed away during delivery complications, and has 3 other little girls and then has a newborn now. And unfortunately she passed away on Thursday night due to some delivery complications afterwards. So got Friday to see her family and just meet her baby and kind of just be there. So definitely reminds you to just be grateful to, I guess, be alive and be healthy. So, which I will be sending out an email because we are trying to raise clothes, formula, things like that for her, since it's just the dad now with the 3 little girls. So I will send out a GoFundMe link if you guys want to help with anything.
Yes, thank you.
All right. That's everything, guys. Go have a good week.